Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really radical reimagining of a classic spiritual journey. It's pulled from the notes of a text known as the apocryphal gay science, which is this kind of philosophical riff on Nietzsche. And it proposes a spiritual climb that turns the whole idea of redemption completely on its head.
So let's just start with a pretty provocative question, right? What if the whole point of a spiritual climb, of a purgatory, wasn't about cleansing our moral mistakes, but about getting rid of something else entirely?
Because this text we're digging into suggests that the real thing holding us back, the real obstacle to our spiritual growth, isn't sin like we normally think of it. It's our blind faith in external, objective truths that have just been handed down to us. Now, to really grasp how powerful this flip is, we gotta remember the original. You know, Dante's Purgatory. That's the classic, grueling climb where souls have to painstakingly cleanse their sins one terrace at a time so they can finally be worthy of heaven, of divine grace.
Okay, now take that whole idea and just flip it. This apocryphal text lays out a deliberate parody, a brand new Mount Purgatorio. But here, the goal isn't to get closer to God. It's all about getting closer to yourself. And this slide just lays out the whole inversion perfectly. I mean, look at the contrast. On one side, the goal is divine grace. On the other, it's self-creation. The sin you're purging is no longer some moral screw-up, but your very faith in objective truth. And the guide? Forget external wisdom. It's replaced by your own internal will.
So, if the sin being purged isn't what we think it is, what is it exactly? In this new model, what's the real weight that's holding the spirit down?
Here's where we see the big switch. The obstacle is no longer about breaking some divine law. No, it's about submitting to any external system of morality that dictates how you should live your life.
This concept of slave morality is absolutely key to understanding this. It's described as any system, could be religious, social, whatever, that imposes its values on you from the outside. It's basically any voice that tells you this is good and that is evil, instead of you having the strength to create those values for yourself.
And here we have the solution, framed as a kind of anti-commandment. It totally reframes the entire spiritual mission. The goal is no longer about passively obeying a code that already exists. It's about the active, personal, and frankly, very difficult work of creation. So who is the one making this incredibly tough climb? Well, it's not some sinner begging for forgiveness. It's an entirely new kind of figure, what the text calls the nascent free spirit. You see, the free spirit guides itself. It relies only on its own intellect and its own creative, artistic will. And the journey is fueled by this amazing idea called the intoxication of convalescence. You know, that incredible surge of life and energy you feel right after you've recovered from a serious illness? That's the fuel. It's a lonely path done without any divine help, and the goal is nothing less than self-redemption. This really maps out that whole grueling internal process. It's a very deliberate, step-by-step struggle. First, you have to break free from the chains of inherited values. Then, you learn to trust only your own mind and your own will. You find strength in your own recovery, and you use all of that to climb toward forging a brand new self. But why? I mean, why go through such a difficult climb? What's the whole point of this intellectual struggle? Well, this stage is the absolutely essential bridge in the soul's larger inverted journey. It connects the absolute lowest point to the very highest. So the journey actually begins in an inferno that's been totally redefined. It isn't a place of fire and punishment for sinners. It's a state of being called the Great Indifference. It's this void where apathy and just wanting to be comfortable, that's the ultimate failure of the human spirit. And this Purgatorio ascent, this climb of the free spirit, is the necessary spiritual answer to that apathy. It's an active, willful, intellectual fight that serves as the direct antidote to the poison of indifference. It is the struggle to care, to create, to will something into existence. And it all leads right here to a new kind of paradiso, a heaven that's right here on earth, and it's defined as amor fati, the love of one's fate. It's a state of total affirmation where you embrace all of life, including all the pain and suffering, and see it as necessary, as beautiful, as joyful. So here's the crucial takeaway. Salvation is no longer something you're just granted from on high, like an act of grace. It's something you achieve from within, through self-redemption. It's the grace you give yourself by finding the strength to love your entire earthly life with no reservations.
And all of this leaves us with one final thought to chew on. By inverting this classic journey, the text is basically asking, maybe the most profound spiritual struggle isn't about reaching some heaven up in the clouds, but about building a heaven right here, inside of ourselves.